Leave the World Behind is the number one trending movie in the world right now. It's all over the internet, all over social media. You see clips of it all over TikTok. So I decided to go and watch it, and that was kind of hard for me because I'm not the biggest movie guy. But when I saw that Michelle and Barack Obama produced this movie, I had to see what was up. Don't Michelle and Barack Obama have much better things to do than to be making movies about the world basically ending? Hold on, not only did they help produce it, former US President Barack Obama sent a lot of script notes to Sam Esmail, the director of Netflix's latest disaster film Leave the World Behind. It then goes on to say, President Obama, having the experience he does have, was able to ground me a little bit on how things might unfold in reality. Okay, now listen to how ridiculous this is. Now I'm going to explain to you what the movie's about. If you haven't seen the trailer or haven't seen the movie at all, there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so just saying. But honestly, this isn't really a movie you can spoil that much, and honestly, it was kind of boring, so whatever. But there is a massive cyber attack that goes on in the United States. These people are living in New York, and we hone into this family who experiences this cyber attack. And basically, this cyber attack eventually leads to a civil war. Everything related to technology gets shut down. TVs, phones, GPSs. This movie makes you realize how much this world is dependent on technology. And if ever gets shut down or ever gets controlled by someone dominant, the world is literally over. Think about this. The planes, the ones that are in the air, they all crash in the movie because where are they going to go? The ships, they have no more navigation. How are they going to find a port? They end up just crashing on rocks. And then the Teslas. This is probably the most popular scene in the movie. Whoever controlled the technology or shut it down took all of the Teslas. They're self-driving, right? And there's so many nowadays. Everyone drives a Tesla. They crash them purposefully in the middle of the roads and clog them up. So all of the roads are filled with crashed Teslas. And you see it. They just keep piling up, and they try dodging the Teslas in the movie. And it's absolutely wild. They then start to send noise attacks and radiation attacks. The movie actually gets kind of wild in some scenes, but there's just so much like worthless dialogue in my opinion. Now there's one main character in the movie who kind of knew this was coming. He's a very successful financial advisor, which means he was controlling very successful people's money. And people with a lot of money have a lot of power. He started to realize that they were all moving their assets away from the stock market and taking their money out because if there's no technology, there's no more stock market. And he started to get close with them. He was at one of their houses. He said they were having a couple drinks. They started getting very open. I forgot what he said exactly, but he knew something big was coming. And they all started going on trips at the same time. And I think they said they didn't know what was coming, but they said the most we could ask for in times like this is a heads up, just to get away, to be safe, while all the other civilians and average people who are making normal income, not millions and billions, are there left stranded, miserable to suffer. Now let's back up a step. If Barack Obama produced this movie, I still can't get around the fact that this guy's producing a movie and helping write the script to this, where there is a cyber attack and all the elites get a heads up to leave the world. That blew my mind. I mean, is it like they're just laughing at our faces? I mean, the only reason why Barack Obama and Michelle Obama would be producing a movie about this is literally to send us a message, right? I don't think they need any more money. I feel like they also don't have a lot of time on their hands. We're talking about former president of the United States and a big one. Like he's probably got better things to do than to sit down and write scripts about making Netflix movie. Like what? Am I the only one that thinks this is like wild? Now, I don't want to ruin the movie, so go watch it, come back and comment. But there's one or two things I don't think a lot of people caught that I want to tell you guys about. So the younger kid in the family, he kept wearing a shirt that said obey. Now, that symbolism goes deep because he was the only one in the family that just didn't care. The cyber attack happened and he was still focused on worldly things. Like he had a crush on the girl, he was doing weird things on the side that I don't want to say, but oddly enough, he was the only one that got severely sick at the end of the movie, which sadly translates into a lot of us. I mean, they could throw anything at us and we won't care. We'll still be distracted by worldly things, and those are the ones that are going to take the most damage and be hurt the most, basically telling us to wake up. Maybe something is coming. And then another thing that was really weird, and obviously everyone caught this one, but the daughter in the family was weirdly obsessed with Friends. Like, that's all she would talk about. And I'm talking about Friends, the show. In the very last scene of the movie, she finally gets access to a TV that works and plays Friends, the last episode. It's called like the last part. I don't even know if it's the last episode or not, but it's called the last part or the last episode, which I thought was really weird. And I don't know the symbolism behind that. I think it's just wild because Matthew Perry died recently. But the last thing I want to say is that I will never be worried about the world ending, because I really truly believe that only God will ever dictate that day, if it ever happens while we are alive. I also don't think the movie was about the world ending. It was more of a civil war that, another country was putting onto the United States, where they want to turn everyone against each other and stuff. So if that ever happens, still all my faith is in God and I don't care anyway. So don't worry about the world ending. Don't worry about a huge civil war coming. Don't worry about all of our technology turning against us one day. Just live your life, balance. Don't get too absorbed in your technology and your Teslas and everything, but just relax.